Hi, it's so good to see you again. How are you today? Awesome. Well, it's so good to see you. I have been working very hard to make sure everything is just how we talked about. So today I just thought we could sit down together and just go over all the details, make sure you're happy with the places that were booked, make sure you're happy with the times, with the itinerary, the activities I planned, all of those kind of details today. And then once we've finalized everything, you've decided if there's anything maybe you want to get rid of, change, maybe add to the trip. I will take notes, write everything down, and then as soon as we leave and we've agreed upon this itinerary, then I will go ahead and make sure everything gets booked for you. Sound good? Okay, perfect. So, why don't you come a little bit closer and we will go over the itinerary together? Okay, perfect. All right, so we are just going to start by talking about first the dates, the travel, and the accommodations. So, our dates are September 16th to the 22nd. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. Just making sure I have that right. Your flight to Iceland, the Keflavik airport, you will depart from your point at 5:40 p.m. and you will arrive in Iceland at 8:30 a.m. So it is an overnight flight like we talked about. Your flight home on the 22nd will leave at 7 p.m. from Iceland and arrive home at 6 a.m. So again, another overnight flight. We're good with both of those. Okay. And then we mentioned that you will need a rental car. So I went ahead and looked at pricing for you, and it looks like it's going to be about $70 a day, which comes out to $445, which we will add to your overall price at the end. Okay. All right. So, just looking at accommodations, I did send over some pictures of each one just to see your thoughts on them. So, the first one, which will be September 16th to the 18th, so this will be 2 nights that you will stay. This is at the Reykjavik Lights Hotel. So, for the most part, you mentioned that you just wanted something simple, except you wanted one more special stay, kind of more to yourself. So, for the most part, I stuck to what you said there. So, the Reykjavik Lights Hotel is just a simple hotel, nice rooms, but nothing fancy. Breakfast is included, which I know that you mentioned is a plus for you. Did you get a chance to look at that one? Okay, perfect. And then the 18th through the 19th, you will be staying at the Solheimajalega guest house. Again, breakfast included. This one is located near Vik. This one is more kind of bed and breakfast type of stay, which is nice. It's kind of like a farmhouse type of vibe. Animals roaming around, super friendly people. It's a little bit more secluded, which is nice. The property is beautiful, which I'm sure you saw in the pictures. Then here on the 19th to the 21st, you will be staying at the Hestamar cottages. So this is the special stay. The cottages are just little houses to themselves. So you'll just be to yourself. The property is so nice, very secluded. It's so peaceful and quiet. You're going to love it. I know that's what you wanted. They have horses on the property. You can pet them. If you want to schedule like a horseback ride with them, you can. The people are super friendly. I cannot praise this place enough. It is a great stay if you ever go to Iceland, or you are going to Iceland if you ever want to recommend it to someone else. But I think you're going to love it. And then again, you will go back to the Reykjavik Lights Hotel at the end of your stay on the 21st to the 22nd. Does this all sound good so far? Okay, great. Then why don't we go ahead and move on to the itinerary. So, as you can see, I kind of already marked this up a bit just because I was thinking through some things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of rewrite it a bit for you, and then I will type it up and send it to you like a finalized copy. So I'm just going to put this to the side so that I can glance at it. Okay. All right. So let me do. I know, not super neat. Okay. So, first night, pardon me, first night, June 16th, your flight lands at 8:30 a.m. You will pick up your rental car and drive to Reykjavik. It's about like a 40-minute drive, so nothing too crazy. Okay. And then check in to your hotel. This day I just kind of planned for you to explore the city. I didn't really plan anything for this day just because you are, going to be tired from flying. So I left this as more of an explore the city day. So the city is beautiful. There's lots to do. A few must-sees. I would definitely recommend going to the church that they have there. You can look up pictures if you want, but it is so beautiful. You can pay to go to the top. Of course, it is beautiful to see from the bottom as well and the inside, but if you go all the way to the top, you get to see a view of the city from the top as well, and it is very, very beautiful. Definitely recommend going to the church. And then, of course, you can just stroll the city, stroll the streets. You really can just walk pretty much anywhere. So you can park your car on the street. Just make sure you're, of course, following the parking rules, and then just stroll the streets. You really can't go wrong with any of the food, any of the shops. I mean, it's just all around a great city. They have colorful streets, colorful buildings, great places to take pictures. It really is such a beautiful city, so I just left that open for you. Then on the next day, on the 17th, I planned a hike for you. Of course, everything on here, for the most part, well, everything on here is optional, except for some of the things I would, of course, need to book for you. So the hike is called Mount Esja. It's about a 4 to 5 hour hike. It's right outside the city, so you wouldn't have to drive very far, but it is an absolute beautiful hike. So not only are you getting to hike up the mountain and see that beauty, but then when you get to the top, you also kind of see the city out in the background, which is so, so beautiful. Of course, how much time you have after that is up to you, and how long you go on the hike, what time you leave, all of those things. You will most likely have more time after, so what I would recommend is to just explore the city some more. There are, of course, other places you could go. Maybe if you didn't go shop at any stores, you could do that. Totally up to you. That is just my recommendation. And then I did plan for you to have a dinner reservation I'm not even going to try to say the name because I cannot say a lot of these words in this language, but it is a very, very nice restaurant, great fish, which is a lot of what Iceland is known for, and you do need a reservation for that. So if you are into it, I can definitely book you a reservation. Is that something you would like me to do for you? Okay. This one is, of course, Iceland in itself is a little bit more on the pricey side. This one is a pricier restaurant, but definitely not overly priced. The food is definitely worth it. Do you have a preference of time for that reservation? 6:30. Okay. I'll write that down. Perfect. All right. So that is all Reykjavik. Of course, Iceland also has great nightlife as well. If you're into going to the clubs and things, if you want to check that out, I would also recommend that if you are into it. All right, and then we've got on the 18th, you're of course going to check out of your hotel. I believe checkout is at 11 a.m. Then we will drive to Vik, which is about 2.5 hour drive, and you will be making some stops along the way to a few different places. So, first stop is the Carrid Crater. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful thing to see. It is a big crater in the ground. I cannot even possibly describe to you how big it is. You just have to see it for yourself. and it is like a lake essentially in the middle of it. Very beautiful, great place for pictures, super peaceful. Then we've also got the geothermal area, so you can see all of the geysers, which is really cool. They have lots of different ones. Some are bigger, some are smaller. And in that area, they have lots of restaurants, super good restaurants that you can go to as well. Definitely would recommend getting some lunch or something there. And then we've got one of our famous waterfalls called the Gullfoss waterfall. This one is a very big, very powerful waterfall. Would highly recommend it. All of this is up to you how much time you spend at each stop. Of course, the drive in itself to Vegas is 2.5 hours. If you stop at each place for like an hour, you should get there in plenty of time. And then, of course, you will check in to your next stay, which is the guest house, which is the Solheimagelega. Okay. All right. So I wasn't planning on making a dinner reservation for you just because I feel like this place that I'm going to recommend to you, you won't need one. But I can for sure check into it if it's something you want. It is called the Stranden Bistro and Bar. Again, this is just a recommendation. There are plenty of other places that you can go to, but I definitely would recommend it if it's something you're into. Okay, and then on the 19th, we will check out. And then I have the option for a horseback riding tour on the Black Sand Beach, which I highly recommend. Black Sand beaches are so awesome, and to get to go horseback riding is just icing on the cake. Is that something you would be into? All right. I believe they had an opening at 10:30. Okay, I'll go ahead and highlight that to make sure I schedule it for you. See anything else I need to schedule here? Okay. All right. And then on the drive to Hella, which will be your next day, this is where we will see 2 more waterfalls. Also forgot to mention, after you do your horseback riding tour, I would recommend just kind of, going up and down the Black Sand Beach a bit, just on foot as well, just because it is a great experience. So the next 2 waterfalls are Skogavas and Siljalandsfoss. The last one's a little hard to say. These are 2 of the most famous waterfalls in Iceland. How much time you spend at each one, again, totally up to you. You do not have to pay for those as well. Free to just drive up. I would recommend getting lunch, dinner, whatever time it is at, I believe it's the second waterfall here. The restaurant is super nice, so good, and you get to see the waterfall from the restaurant because they have, the glass windows all around. So cool. And then we will check in at your cottage. The Heslamar cottages. Alright, so again at the cottages they will, give you your key, you drive up, you can park right by your cottage. It's very secluded by itself, peaceful. You're going to absolutely love it. Again, you really can't go wrong with most of the restaurants in the area for dinner. Alright, then on the 20th, you are going to go to the Westman Islands, which is right by where you're going to be. So you'll take a ferry. And this is definitely a must-do in my opinion. The ferry leaves at all different times, but I would recommend 10:30 just because the tour that I have planned for you is at 12 and we want to make sure we get there in time. So if this is something you want to do, I will schedule the ferry tickets for you. So after I go over all the information, just let me know. And then you would do your puffin tour at 12, which I will explain what that is in just a second. Puffins are a very more rare bird that migrates to and from Iceland, and you get to see them. You will have to look them up to know what they look like. They're very, very cool birds, smaller than you would think when you look at the picture, but it is super cool to see all of them flying together. So that is at the end of the tour, but really the whole tour is just a tour of the Westman Islands. They take you around on a bus, they show you all the different places, they give you the history, they tell you about the Vikings that lived there. It is really cool. I am usually not a big fan of bus tours, but this is probably the best one I've ever been on. After the tour is about 2 to 3 hours. After the tour, you can kind of just explore more of the islands. I would recommend kind of just staying there for the rest of the day. You can get lunch or get dinner there. You can go to the shops. Everyone there is super nice, super friendly. And then take the ferry back to the mainland. They have many different times available, so just make sure that you know the time so that you can get back to your cottage. Are you interested in doing the puffin tour? Just so I can make sure we get it scheduled. Yes, okay, so I'm gonna need a ticket for the ferry and then perfect. Alright. And then 21st, you will check out of your cottage. And this is where we will drive back to Reykjavik. And again, along the way, we're going to make some stops. So we will stop at the Thingvellir National Park. This is a great place to do a lot of hiking. They have many different hiking trails you can do. It's really up to you how long you want to spend. I would recommend personally leaving a little bit later, go hiking, and then if you can also see the northern lights. I just have it written in here for you to kind of do that at your own pace or at your own time. Of course, you would need to do it at night because that's when it's dark and you can see the northern lights, but usually that's a good place to see them. However, if you would prefer to have a tour for that, that is definitely something I can add. If you would prefer to have someone kind of show you the right spot, tell you about it, all of that stuff. Is that something you'd like me to do for you? Yes. Okay, so why don't I put a little star here for the northern lights so I can come back to that. Okay, so we will come back to that, and then again we'll check in at the Reykjavik Lights Hotel. Alright, and then on the 22nd, which is your last day, you will check out. And then you're going to go to the Blue Lagoon. And I put 1 p.m. That was one of the times, and I just thought it'd be the best option. But of course, if you'd like a different time, let me know. It is near the airport, which is nice because your flight is later in the day, but that way you will already be close to where you need to be. Your flight again is at 7 p.m., so we would want to get there about 2.5 to 3 hours before your flight, which gives you a lot of time at the Blue Lagoon, which is nice. The Blue Lagoon, if you did not know, is the hot springs. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. The natural hot springs. So nice. The water is just incredible. Super healing. That's what they say, it has healing powers. You get a mask, like a face mask included. You get a drink included. There are, of course, other, spa packages and things if you want something a little more high class. They have a restaurant in there, so it really is a place you can spend a lot of time. And of course, showers and all that as well. Is that something you're interested in? Awesome. And do you want just the normal package, or are you wanting to add on any extra fun things? Just the normal package. Okay, perfect. Alright, and then after that, of course, you would just go drop your car off and get ready for your flight. Okay, so let's come back to the northern lights. I'm just gonna make a note for myself to schedule you a tour. And I'm sure they'll have one near where you will already be to make that a little bit easier. And are you good with doing it on the 21st? Okay, perfect. And I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm writing June on here. That's supposed to be September. My brain is on June for some reason. Alright, so now that we have our itinerary, flight plans, accommodations, and everything all ready for you, I will make sure and get all of these things we talked about booked and ready to go. I will type up this itinerary for you nice and neat with all the details you need and send it over to you, and just make sure everything everything is finalized. And again, if anything comes up or you think of anything you want to change before you leave, please do not hesitate to let me know. I am here to help you in any way that I can, so please do not hesitate to reach out, okay? Alright, perfect. It was so lovely working with you and getting to meet you, and I hope that we work together again in the future. Alright, have a wonderful trip.